My photographic project within the MA Photography course at the University of Falmouth is going to be devoted to ecosystem services. In evaluating my past work, I've realized that I've been photographing ecosystems all my life without even possibly realizing it. This also very strongly relates to my science and policy work in the field of sustainable development. The idea for this project is to photograph and describe a whole variety of ecosystem services that we benefit from. Currently, the European Environment Agency differentiates about 36 different types of ecosystem services, which include things like water, food, CO2 sequestration, creation of oxygen, absorbing dust, purifying water, and processing organic waste. I have been able to reassess the past work that have been done in the previous months and most recently to arrange it into specific sets focusing on particular ecosystem services. You can see in this slide the created sets for water, food, fiber, biochemicals, fuel, soil formation, air quality regulation, and so on. I will very quickly go through and show you some of these sets and discuss this project in detail. Water. You can see how water is deposited on tops of the mountains in the form of ice and snow and then falls down, creates lakes, and is used by humans within cities. The food, really different color scheme. Is there something to explore? Possibly. Creates numerous opportunities and in fact creates jobs for people involved in coffee trade and in catering and so forth. Fiber. Here you can see a diversity of images from fiber used in houses and boats to fiber used in musical instruments. Genetic resources. The diversity of life on the planet is very much responsible for maintaining the stable climatic conditions we are enjoying. Biochemicals. There's an enormous variety of different types of chemicals which exist in various plants that can be used for pharmaceutical industry to produce drugs to cure complex diseases. Fuel. Very often we use fuel to heat our homes during winter, and this is still the predominant method in quite a lot of households around the world. The forces of nature. Wind energy is used in sailing, one of the most environmentally friendly ways of transporting ourselves, but also is used in generating electricity. Hydro, the force of the falling water, is used in hydroelectricity production, as you can see from a very simple example of a water mill in Nepal. Tide, very much an untapped resource with lots of possibilities. You can see some images related to the tidal idea. Geothermal. Well, if you drill long enough, you will realize that there is a temperature differential between the point very deep down in the Earth's crust and the surface. This differential could be used to generate electricity. Biochemical cycles and carbon. Plants and algae in the sea help to absorb carbon from the atmosphere and therefore maintain stable atmospheric conditions. Soil formation, extremely important. Soils are vital for our agriculture. It takes a long time for the soils to be created, and so the story of soils is important to be told. Photosynthesis, both on land and at sea, algae and plants generates oxygen and therefore allow us to carry on living. Pollination, very important quote from Einstein, tells us that if we lose pollinators, we're only going to have 4 years to sort out this problem because there will be significant shortages of food due to lack of pollination. Water cycling. Water cycles around the globe through glaciers and snow deposition at the top of the mountain, then running down in the form of water, evaporating again, and therefore continuously replenishing the biomass and ourselves throughout the year. Air quality regulation is absolutely vital, especially in big cities, where, like in Singapore, which you can see in an example in the bottom row, plants are used on balconies and rooftops to help purify the atmosphere. Water purification and waste treatment. It's not a secret that at the moment our oceans contain about 260 million tons of plastic waste, which escaped landfills that we humans produced. This is a huge problem and needs to be tackled urgently. Social relations. It's interesting to note that ecosystems, in fact, indirectly facilitate various social relations, such as those interactions that emerge in coffee shops, or social relations emerging through the musical performances that are ultimately using wood to create musical instruments. Spiritual and religious values. An example of Machapuhari mountain in Nepal shows that definitely there are cases where money cannot be used to assess the value of ecosystem services. Inspiration. Various views of Rio de Janeiro that I've enjoyed inspired me to start painting, and this is a good example of how an ecosystem provides an inspiration service. Aesthetic values. The geometry and the sculptured form of the trees in the Joshua Tree National Park cannot stop to delight me, and therefore create a really unique aesthetic value. And finally, sense of place. A former Roman mine in the border, on the border between Wales and England, is an absolutely unique experience, creating a special sense of place. Thank you very much. I'm intending to create a new body of work to put special attention and to place particular effort into editing and creation of coherent sets to make sure that the images together tell a compelling story of ecosystems. More images could be seen on our website. Thank you very much.